this is also the technology, and we are familiar with this on day-to-day basis because we are using this almost every day. So what is voice over IP? Voice over Internet Protocol, also called IP telephony, is a method and a group of technology for the delivery of voice communication and multimedia over Internet Protocol networks. So we know that before we were sending the data over IP, but now we are sending the voice as well. So that is the voice over IP. It used, as the Crystal said, that it used the kind of protocol that is SIP, and it also used SCCP, which is known as Skinny Client Control Protocol for the communication. And the session, as it is mentioned, the session initiation protocol is a signaling protocol used for initiating, maintaining, and terminating real-time sessions that include voice, video, and message application. SIP clients typically use TCP or UDP port numbers. These are very important if you can remember. These are 5060, which is clear text. Clear means if somebody, some evil person is sitting in between, and if he tap that information, it will be in a clear format so he can listen everything. The other port it's using is encrypted, which is basically the TLS, which is 5061. So whatever the communication will be happening, it will be like encapsulated. So nobody, even somebody will capture that packet, they cannot read whatever inside it. And this I have also mentioned this attack, which is known as the VOMIT attack, voice over misconfigured internet telephones. What it does, it converts a Cisco IV phone conversation with the help of TCP dump into a WAV format. Okay, so
Can
they will
can we call it a ghost attack?
Yep, ghost attack as well, yeah. And then they can play with any audio, player, so he or she can listen whatever you are, saying on phones. It use kind of codecs. I'm using these vocabularies. So, if somebody is talking about SIP, SCCP, codecs, you must have an idea they are talking about voice over IP. So codecs is nothing, just, the technology that determines the audio quality, bandwidth, compression. Sometimes you want to compress whatever the communication is going on. So this is the with the help of codecs you can do that. As it is mentioned, it does compression and decompression. So that is no. Yep.
I have a question about vomit. You said that you recorded. So if it is encrypted, they can do nothing, right? Even if they record.
Yeah, if they are using this, let's suppose 5060. Okay. The TCP, they are using TCP, but 5060. So just like a Wireshark, even the Wireshark has ability, to capture the voice over IP communication, and they can convert into this web format, and then you can listen whatever is going on. So that is the reason 5061 is being used as a TLS. So whatever the communication will be there, it will be like encrypted. Okay. They can capture the packet. It is not like they will not capture. They will capture, but when they will like de-encapsulate or will try to find out this audio, they will never be able to listen that one. Okay. Then this is just the old topology. Basically, we have these PBX we were using in old days, which is stand for private booth, public exchange, public branch exchange, basically PBX. And these are normal old telephones. Whatever the communication, it go through your voice gateways, and it is using public infrastructure, and then it can hit the destination. So that was the old technology. So since the Cisco came in, they came up with the new ideas. The voice gateway is almost same. Okay, but then they have these kind of things, that's CUCM. Okay, and this is our LAN environment. If they want to communicate the other end, they will use Cisco specific IP phones and Cisco specific UCM, CUCM to communicate the other end. So if somebody want to migrate from this old infrastructure to the new one, they just need to replace this local infrastructure. Basically, they will not touch this infrastructure because that is almost same. So when we talk about voice over IP, as I said, we have these two things, which is this one is basically this thing. CUCM stand for Cisco Unified Communication Manager, which is enterprise call control and session management platform that connects people anywhere using any device. So this is how basically if you want to communicate, it will first of all send the communication or get the communication from this, and sometime there has a FTP as well. For example, these all phones has kind of some configuration, and they are taking from where? They will take either from FTP or CUCM. Okay, then they have to send this to traffic where? Of course, CME. So that is Call Manager Express. So it is like a gateway. The information will pass through this one, and you can communicate with the other end.
Now, just for clarity purpose, Kamran, maybe you can correct me. I don't have too much knowledge on this side.
Okay, no problem.
When we talk about these things, when he says CUCM, CME, some of these things are kind of like VMs as well. So we're talking about virtual machines. When they create virtual machines, the configuration is done on there. It's like a operating system. You install it, you do all that kind of configuration, and then at back end there's another hardware there. Again, we're talking about hardware, right? It goes back and connect to it, and then you have all this configuration. Like you can, just like when I show you about ASA, right? There's a hardware, there's a connection. When he's talking about these different type of SME, CUCM, that's also the similar type of setup from Cisco that we're talking about here. But just want to remind some of you that you may land a job in a company. So let's say you're all in one what do you call, all in one man IT shop. That's what we call the name, right? When somebody's alone and you're the only network engineer, then yes, you may need to know these things. But when you go to like a mid-sized company, most of the time you have different type of skill set from different engineers. So one would be more of like a voice engineer. You may be more of a networking guy with a different type of skill set. But do you need to know this? Yes, of course, because if let's say the other engineers are on vacation and somehow you lose the connectivity or your system went down and it has to come back up now, something happened. Because what happened in this type of setup, as far as I know, you have to run some type of sequential restarts in this CUCM type of setup. So you have to understand what that is at the very basic level. So maybe this is something we will touch in the CCNA at a more visual level. I told Kamran that we may come up with something for this, okay? And later on, and today, just kind of know that there's also a voice setup, and we have phones, and how are they connected is what I want you to understand from today's lecture. Like, what is this? How are they connected, and why do we use it? That's kind of like the main concept I want you to take out of this whole what he's teaching. Okay.
Yeah. So if we move on to the next slide, as Danish was talking about the software, as you can see, if we talk of the endpoints, this is, by the way, infrastructure model. If we talk about the endpoints, what are the devices that are connected to your endpoints? Just like a computer, we have IP phone, wireless, and then you can see IAM clients as well. We have, that software is configured. Instead of having IP phone, we have some kind of softwares installed on these laptops or computers. Then with the help of these handsets or headphones, okay, you can make the call as well from your laptop directly. So these are the things that comes at the endpoint. Then we have at the application level, we have like configured like voicemails, conference calls, call center, 911 services. Usually when you make a call, you will listen a kind of voicemail or something, call center applications, they have pre-configured some voices or recording in that. So these are the application. These are the call processing, as I said earlier, that CUCM and UCM, these all are comes under the call processing. And then these are the normal infrastructures like the voice gateway, as I showed you in the last slide. Sorry. Like these are the voice gateways, basically. So these are all the pieces that, you know, combine together to make one infrastructure. So you do not need to remember, just, you know, for the sake of knowledge and information, you just can have idea. If you are more interested into this voice over IP, what you can do, you can type unified communication manager. You can go a lot in detail what it does. UC 500, what is the difference, if in case if you are interested. So I have planned to give you the demo as well on Cisco Packet Tracer. So because you have a better idea what Cisco Packet Tracer can do. And in Cisco Packet Tracer, we consider it like, you know, the very basic level software, but, you know, it is quite capable of doing everything. Even when we will hit wireless LAN, you will see we can deploy wireless topology on that as well. So I will take you to the Cisco Packet Tracer. And just, can you see the packet tracer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So let's make a very simple topology, and some of the configuration like I will hide from you, or I can share as well with you, that is to do with that IP telephony. So you don't need to worry. So you just take the process, just, you know, take a look how I go through, and then you can follow what I'm doing. So just drag and drop one switch, and then take one router. This router, just you can consider it like CUCM or the FTP as well, if you can. Means whatever the information your IP phone is gonna get, it will get from your this CUCM or router. So we have very simple topology, router, switch, and then add one IP phone as well. As you can see, we have multiple phones here. These are normal phones. This is voice over IP device. So not to confuse with this one. This is the one we are looking for, IP phone. Just drag and drop it. And then just double click on that to, if I can give you the visual of that. And just zoom in. So this is the back of your voice over IP device. This has to do with the console. If we remember, we talked about the console. It is also known as RS232. Then we have these two ports, Ethernet ports basically. And this is, if you are connecting this phone with the switch directly, then you need to connect into this switch port, or in some scenario, you can have here PC as well. PC will be connected to the phone, and then this PC will be connected to the switch. So in that case, you can use this one, which is written PC. Okay, so this is a back, and then this is the power adapter. You can just drag and drop and plug into it to turn on this device. So if I go to the GUI, which is stand for graphical user interface, if I will click, you will see it will give me the error device must be powered on. So I told you from here, you need to just drag and drop into this. This is the thing, basically giving it power. So it is connected now. Once you will click on the GUI, now it is working. And it is not giving me any error. So this is the front. So nothing you can do here more, because this is, you know, the simulator. Just if you can just click these buttons and something like that, and click backspace from the keyboard to remove that one. So very quickly, let's connect this device with the switch, and this switch with the router or the CUCM. So from here, we are already familiar that this is the access port, but we want to assign this as a voice VLAN. I know from our previous lectures that this is by default on a VLAN 1. So whatever the communication this phone will do will go through this VLAN. Okay, but we know that this is voice VLAN. This should be under the voice, not data. This VLAN is for data traffic, and this whatever I'm going to configure after that will be for the voice. So let's very quickly jump onto the switch and configure this port as a voice VLAN. So we should be familiar what interface this my phone is connected with, which is fast Ethernet 0/1. Just click on the switch. Go into the switch, enable, configure terminal, and we need to go into the interface fast Ethernet 0/1, and then there is a command switch port access switch port. If you don't know something about that command, just hit question mark so you can dig deep furthermore. So as it's mentioned, voice switch port voice, then VLAN. We will associate this interface to with the voice VLAN 1, and that's it. As soon as I hit enter, you can see now it start negotiating because I made this interface the part of voice VLAN, which is just for the voice. And if I will not mention voice VLAN, it is become the part of data. Okay, so there is a distinct between voice VLAN and data VLAN. And since we are here, we are on fast, we need to go into fast Ethernet 0/2 and also make it no shut. That's it. Interface fast Ethernet 0/2 and just type no shut. So as you can see, it is not up right now because we have a router. We need to make this port up as well. So very quickly save the configuration, type writing WR and then close this one. Now we need to go into the router. Go click into the CLI. As you can see, it didn't find the system configuration, or that's the why it is showing me the wizard. So we want to configure, do our own configuration. So that's why we will type no, go into enable mode under configure terminal. First of all, change the name of this router because we know that this is CUCM. So with the help of host name, CUCM, and now you will see, notice that from router, it went to the CUCM. So I'm just giving it a name. So, when somebody is logging in from console or SSH, telnet, so he have better idea where it landed. So very quickly go into fast Ethernet 0/0 for router, make it no shut and give it the IP. Let's make this all subnet into 192.168.1.0. So IP address for my CUCM will be, let's make it 192.168.1.100 with 24-bit subnet mask. That's it. So this voice over IP phone need to know the information like what is the number of this phone or whatever, the ringtones, these all files, it is gonna fetch from where? From some place, which is this CUCM router. So this will act like a FTP server as well for this voice over IP phone. So for that, I will open my notepad as well because I have configured everything ready. So without wasting any moment. So can you see the notepad as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So before I, configure these things, I just very quickly, I just go through, we are using Cisco 8211 router. And as I said, this is the IP that we configured, but I gave it like 1.100. Okay, so very quickly, let's change this one because we want to sync it with our configuration. We go into interface fast Ethernet 0/0. First, I will show you what IP I was configured before, show IP interface brief. As you can see, it was given 1.100, but as per my instruction, it should be 1.1. So I'm going to just change this IP. 0/0 and IP address is 1.1. And that's it. If I do show IP interface brief, as you can see now it is synced with this one. So this is the 1.1 I have configured as per my notepad. After that, I need to configure the DHCP pool. Of course, this my voice over IP device will have kind of IP. This is just like a, your computer. It is going to get some kind of IP. From where it will get? From this CUCM. So this is how I'm defining a pool network, which is from 1.0, the default router, which is the default gateway. And this is the new thing for you, option 150. And if you remember in DHCP, we talk about options. And this is how, where we're gonna use these options. This option 150 basically will tell my voice over IP phone that whatever the information, the IP, the configuration files, the ringtone files, these all you're gonna access from me because I have given this 1.1, which is the same router. Okay, so very quickly, I will share this file as well with you. So from your end, you can do the same configuration. So you need to go into global configuration mode and click on the paste. After copying this information, just click on the paste. So we have enabled the DHCP pool or DHCP server for this range 192.168.1.0. After this is more specific to voice over IP configuration. So what is it saying? It's saying that enable the telephony services on this router. Telephony services will be enabled on the router. How many maximum phones you want to use? Let's say I want to use 5. Then maximum DN. Okay, these are basically the number of lines. How many lines you want? Which I said 5. Then it is saying IP source address 192.168.1 on the port 2000. As I mentioned, this is used for SCCP phone, skinny client protocol. So this is a source you're gonna get everything from. And these are some other auto assign 4 to 5 and 1 to 6. I don't just want to go in detail. That's it. This is very little configuration, as you can see. Then you can move along with this same concept. Okay, just copy paste into your router and things will be work. So let's very quickly. So as you can see, the DHCP address conflict because 1.1 I have assigned to this machine and it is giving. So what you can do, you can type IP DHCP exclude address 192.168.1.1. So because this was giving me the confliction. So I just removed that one. So let's very quickly configure this part as well for the telephony. If it will give me some error, we can manually type as well. Just paste and hit enter. And then just copy this portion. Yep, so far so good. And by the way, these auto assign has to do when automatically, it will tag my IP, these IP telephones. Okay, so this has to do with the tagging. It automatically it will do the tagging. So if you are more interested and keen to know a lot in detail about voice over IP, as I said earlier, that you need to go through these all commands one by one, and you can dig deep. What is this? And oh, sorry. Then you can do auto assign 1 to 5. Okay, so we have configured until this part. And now this is the final piece. We have to mention this phone has DN1 line, and I want to give the number. And we know that every phone has specific number we need to dial on. So this is the information that we are going to put here. So under configure terminal, phone information I'm going to give, just a minute, phone minus DN1, and then number is 54,000. So I'm going to assign the number to this phone is 54,000. Okay, my dialing number basically, and hit enter. Now at this moment, this IP phone should be configured with this 54,000, and you can see, yep, if you have a very good visuals, you can see 54,000 is mentioned here. Okay, so since we are here, let's very quickly add another phone, because we want to check the connectivity as well. So come here, add another phone, this phone. Connect this phone with a switch. And let's make this one 554001. Means I want to assign this dialing number to this phone. So first thing first, we know that we have to assign the voice VLAN to this IP telephone. So we need to go into the switch, go to configure terminal mode, and we know that this phone is connected at fast Ethernet 0/3 port. Go into that and then make switch port voice VLAN 1 and no shut. That's it. Save the configuration and close. Now we need to go again into this router or the CUCM, and then just you need to add this command only. But this time it will be dialing number 2 and the number will be 54001. So let's do it very quickly. Go to global configuration mode. Phone minus DN is 2. This is my second phone. And I want to assign the number 54001. And that's it. Now this phone will be registered to this phone. And we miss one thing, that is the power. So if it is down, you can come here, just plug in on, just plug that power and click on the GUI. So it is going into configuring IP, and maybe it will start because it is going through some spanning tree. As you can see, still the link is in a orange. So it is just like initializing right now. So let's give it a moment. Okay, so the link is up. If you want to confirm, you can check whether it is registered or no. So again, you can type again. Yeah. See, it took time. It took a little bit time to make the configuration. Now, as you can see, this is now configured with 54001. Okay, so for the connectivity, I just can quickly dial to 54,000 from here, 554, then 1000, and hit enter. So as you can see, it is ringing, and you can go here and you can see 54,000 is ringing currently, and you just click on this one. So it is connected. Okay, so I'm just giving you a demo to make sure that, you know, this is the strength of this packet tracer, by the way. If you have any confusion, please ask. I will share this file as well. And then you can go through the same way, same process I went through, just to get your hands on for the voice over IP.
Yeah, so think about the tickets that you may come across or interview questions. So just go over your, test out modules, and then think about certain things like if somebody called that I plug in the phone, but I'm not getting an IP address. So you should understand what's going on. I plug into we are getting an IP address, but certain things are not working. So you should be able to understand which devices or which management pieces do I need to know to be able to manage this. And not at this level, like we talk about, you just need to understand at understanding level. You really don't need to go into and start doing things, because this is still a Network Plus Pro. So if you still feel like, man, that's too much learning switches and routing, and now on top of this I got to learn voice at this level, so this shouldn't be your priority, I would say, right? You should understand it, how it works, but don't make this a pretty big priority that you have to now learn this at very deep level. Okay.
Yeah, this is just like add-ons, you know. If you will add a value to your CV or something, it will be more appreciated. You know, somebody will be considered, like if one is having no knowledge, but someone having routing and voice over IP. So this is how, you know, it works. So at least you must have an idea how voice over IP phone works
Yeah,
and
like
what are the.
let's say hopefully, or maybe luckily, you get an opportunity right now and somebody call you, hey, I'm going to teach you to become a network engineer. After doing this, I think you're going to be more comfortable to even learn this, because if they say we're using Cisco voice, this is our product, this is what we use. After going through just this, or maybe doing a practice packet tracer labs, I think you're going to be very comfortable, I think, at that level. But after CCNA courses, I think if somebody then call you, hey, we are using Cisco, products, and you maybe say, oh yeah, I think I can configure that. I mean, I am at that level that I can understand this, what exactly goes on. So two different feelings at this point. Okay.